Today's tutorial is going to be a bikini tutorial. It's a little cheeky, but you get the drift. So if you want to learn how to make a bikini from fabric like this to this, then just keep watching. Alright, so for your materials, you're going to need a ½ yard of your swimsuit fabric with matching thread. Ignore having elastic, we're not going to use this in the tutorial. You'll need a ½ yard of your lining fabric, and you don't need a matching fabric for this either. I just pre-recorded all of this before I made the tutorial, and yeah, I changed it as I went. I will have the bikini pattern in the description box below where you can purchase it and have a download of this file. You'll need to print it out and you will cut out your pattern pieces. There's 5 of them. Ignore the numbers on the patterns. I changed that later on because there was actually extra pieces that I decided not to use. But yeah, so you're gonna need these pattern pieces, and then you just follow what the pattern says and cut out all the correct pieces from your lining and your swimsuit fabric. So these are all my pieces laid out. I have 2 of the bottoms. I have 4 pieces for the top. I have 2 of the back bottoms. And then I have all my straps. And again, the pattern pieces will be in the description box, and it'll have all the directions of what you need to cut out. So we're gonna start off first with our straps that we need for our bikini bottom and our top. We are just gonna fold them in half and then do a ½ inch seam allowance zigzag stitch. And on your sewing machine, if you have a basic home machine, you should have the zigzag stitch, and I would suggest making it a wide stitch so that your fabric is stretching. And while you're sewing the zigzag stitch, make sure that you stretch your fabric a little bit, like pull it towards you a bit while you're sewing so that your strings won't pop. Well, so that your straps won't pop when it's being overly stretched later on. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so your straps will look something like this after you're done sewing that ½ inch seam allowance, and you'll just continue this step on the rest of the straps. There's gonna be 3 super long straps and 2 short ones, and that's what you should have when you're done. I have a strap turner, which is like $5 at Joann's, or you can use a safety pin and do the safety pin method on turning straps, but I just slide in my strap turner, hook it on the end, and pull it through, and it's super fast. I would suggest buying this if you're going to be making a whole bunch of bikinis this summer. I am, and I'm going to be posting a whole bunch of tutorials, so you're going to see this tool a lot within the next month. But yeah, I just slide it through and pull my strap through. It's really quick and easy. So after pulling all my straps right side out, this is what they look like. I have my 3 long ones and my 2 short ones. After this step, we're gonna work on the bikini top. So you'll need to pull out your 4 bikini pieces, the 2 fashion fabrics and the 2 linings, and you will just sandwich them together like I'm showing on the screen, and then you will pin the sides together because we're gonna do a zigzag stitch on the side seams. Once you have your side seams pinned down, we're going to sew this at 1/4 of a seam allowance. It should be right on the edge because we're going to turn that over later on. Okay, after you zigzag stitch the side seams, we are going to do a basting stitch on the bottom where I'm pointing at, and you just do that at 1/4 seam allowance too. While I'm sewing this basting stitch on the bottom of the bikini tops, I just want to let you guys know that this month I'm making all swimsuit patterns and tutorials, so if you can leave me some suggestions in the comment box, that will be super helpful. It doesn't matter what it looks like. you can just email me a picture or leave a comment down below and I will make a tutorial for this month. At this point, your bikini top should look like this with zigzag stitches on the sides and a base stitch on the bottom. Okay, you're gonna grab one of your short straps and we are going to place it on our fabric right here. And then we're gonna pin this down directly in the middle. The more you have it centered, the better it will be for you later, trust me. You need it to be in the center because we're gonna be folding over our fabric to cover up that seam. So just repeat that same step for the other side of your bikini top. You should have your pins strapped down like this, and then we're gonna sew that at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. If you want, you can just sew down that strap at the 1/2 inch seam allowance, but I decided to go across the whole entire bikini top just because it was easier for me. So do whatever is easiest for you, just make sure you sew that strap down at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Alright, so your pattern pieces should look like this. I'm going to flip mine over onto the lining side of the fabric and I'm going to fold over my zigzag stitch and then fold it over again and pin that part down. I'm just going to demonstrate it on the screen for you to understand. I'm literally just folding over my seam allowance and then folding it over again and pinning it down just so that I can cover up the zigzag stitch, and it's going to fold right across at the strap. It should meet in the middle at the strap. Okay, so after you're done folding over that seam allowance and pinning it down, your bikini tops pieces should look like this, and then we're just gonna sew that down in the middle of where you pinned. So just one more time, you are sewing a straight stitch in the middle of your folded hem that you just pinned down. So after sewing, this is what your top should look like. You see my straight stitch is all the way around where I pinned. I even sewn over my straps and everything. Right now, I'm just cutting away all my straggly threads. Your top is looking pretty good right now. And now we're going to do the same fold over method on the bottom of our bikini top pieces, except you're gonna do this at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. You need to make this part big enough so you can slide through your bikini straps for the bottom. So I folded over my seam allowance that I created earlier at a 1/4, and then I folded it over again at a 1/2 inch so that I can create a space for my straps to slide through. So after you're done pinning, it's gonna look like this, and you will need to pin down at the top of your fold over seam allowance at like 1/8. You need to sew it down there. Do not sew in the middle like we did before. You need to sew it close to the edge and make sure you catch everything because you need to slide your strap through these pieces. Okay, so your bikini tops look like this. You'll need to lay out your bikini top in the right order. The shorter side of the triangle is the inside of your bikini, and the longer side is for your sides of your bikini. So you can see one end is longer than the other. The short side is the inside where your bust goes. The longer side goes to the side where your armpit goes. Hope that makes sense. On your pattern, I will have what's the side seam and what's the center of the bikini top, and it'll be written on there for you so you don't have to remember this. So I'm just gonna take my strap turner and I'm gonna slide it through both the bottoms of my bikini tops, and then I'm going to slide through one of the long straps that we created, because this is gonna be for the bottom of your bikini, and I'm just gonna slide it through and ruche it up however I like it. And then I'm going to tie the bottoms of the straps into knots so that it won't unravel. Once you finish that part, then your bikini top is finished, and you can just tie that up however you like to tie it up and put that to the side because it's done, and we're gonna work on the bikini bottom. Okay, so for the cheeky bikini bottoms, this one's gonna go by way faster than it did before. For the top, you'll just need to pull out your two pieces for your front and your back of your bottoms, and we are going to pin the bottom of the linings together at the crotch. Then you'll repeat the same for your swimsuit fabric, and I will have on the pattern where the crotch is just so you're not confused. It'll be on the pattern as well. Then you'll sew the crotch seams at a 4th seam allowance. I would suggest sewing it with a zigzag stitch, and make sure you stretch your fabric just a little bit towards you while you're sewing. Once you're done sewing, your pieces will look like this, and you will just need to sandwich them together. Make sure all your seams are on the inside so you're only working with the smooth sections of your fabric on both sides. So the seams are on the inside, the smooth sections are on the outsides. So then we're just gonna pin down the whole perimeter of the bikini bottoms, and we're gonna sew that with a zigzag stitch at a 4th seam allowance, just like we did the bikini top. After you're done sewing your zigzag stitch, then you'll just need to cut off the corners that aren't smooth. And then after that, you're just going to do that roll over method that I told you before, but only on the side seams right now. So you just roll it over 1/4, roll it over again, and pin it down, and only do this on the sides. Once you're done pinning down your side seams, then you're gonna sew with a straight stitch down the middle of your rolled hem that you just created with your pins. Same thing that we did on the bikini top before. Alright, so your fabric is gonna look like this. I already pinned one side, so we're just gonna do that same roll over hem method that we did on the bottom of our bikini. Make sure that you cut your corners off at a diagonal, and then you'll just roll it over at a 1/4 seam allowance, and then roll it over again at a 1/2 inch, just so you can slide through your 2 long straps through those holes. I'm so tongue twisted today, but yeah. So we're just repeating the same steps that we did on the bottom of our bikini, and this is a little preview of what your bikini bottom is gonna look like. Then you'll sew that at the edge like we did at the bottom of our bikini with a straight stitch. Okay, so this is what your bikini bottoms looks like. I'm just taking my strap turner, putting it through one side, and taking one of my straps and pulling it through. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the other side with my other strap that we created, because there's 3 long straps. And I'm gonna just slide that one through the same. Alright, so after you're done sliding that through, I'm just gonna tie knots at the bottom of my straps, and then your bikini bottoms are finished. I will be posting swimsuit tutorials throughout this whole month, And if you have any suggestions, please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification so that you can get all my bikini launches that I'm doing this month, because it is summertime and we need to get all our summer bodies looking good. And I will see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye.